I'm going off the cuff on this one because I'm asked to do a review of a conference that I just recently attended, and it was on a course that they were talking about sexuality, and I guess I didn't read the fine print when I signed up for it. I was looking for more answers as to why there's so much relation between food and sex and the addiction cycle. Why is it that we can starve out ourselves from sustenance and really heighten in our sexual drive, and then vice versa? Why is it also that we can look to relationship to feed an ache inside of our heart that is basically starving, and then when we don't get fulfilled or satisfied, we can turn to a carton of ice cream and just mow it down in one sitting? I'll tell you what I think. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that nobody knows how to address sex appropriately. That 50 Shades of Grey came in and they suddenly made it very exciting to what? I don't know, be treated poorly? So where are we going to draw the line and recognize that we have basic needs? Sex isn't one of them, okay? Relationships are built on love and acceptance, and if we don't get that in our childhood, then we're going to go looking for it probably in all the wrong places and wind up betting somebody that we have no business being with in the first place. But hence, I digress. Because the truth is, when our basic needs of water, shelter, and food are not met, and then we don't get kind touch from our caretakers or our parents, then we turn inward and we basically are starting to question our validity, our worth, our value, our significance. And so if somebody comes along and they pay us a little bit of attention, doesn't matter how old you are, you could have been celibate for years, and then it takes one person to come across your path that is enticing. Maybe they're speaking something that you've never heard before and you have all these butterflies going on. Okay, sometimes people literally say they can't even eat because they're so excited. When we check in with our nervous system, and if we actually closed our eyes and we talked to the parts of us that are stimulated, we would see a far greater need than just this person falling for us, or this person kissing us in such a way, or this meal really being so scrumptious that it's basically a party in our mouth. Because food and sex are those things that we get confused about as to making us happy, to filling us from the inside out. And nobody knows how to address sex in a way that says there are some boundaries and parameters for your safety. If you're actually going to guard your heart, that would mean to check in with yourself. Do I want to eat the second piece of pie? Do I really want to go into the bedroom with this person? Do I want to have talks about sex? I am not a person that enjoys talking about sex. Don't ask me any questions. I don't want to go into an intimate conversation. I don't want to tell you what I like or don't like, because basically until you're vetted and you are vested in me and I find you trustworthy, I'm not divulging those personal things, because safety is a measure that if we don't get in childhood, we will see how far we can go with eating and sex in our adulthood. And in this conference session, they were talking about things that I've never discussed in a public forum, like kink and the degrees of what turns people on. And I really had to put my input in there when I said, you know, there's a sex-based control spirit that jumps on anybody with their first view of porn. And so if a man has it in his mind that a female should be doing these things that he's seen in his fantasy world on the screen, then that's a sure recipe for complete disaster. Intimacy will be completely squashed, and the female will actually feel it. Those things were not really openly communicated as being okay to have a red flag that says, I don't like this. Instead, what often happens, even with people that don't have issues with their body image, they recoil. They won't be fully apparent in the action because their mind is on survival. And whenever either partner makes the other one go beyond their boundaries in the bedroom or on a communicative level, a conversation actually has to draw them back in so they can openly look each other in the eye and say, I don't really like what happened. I don't appreciate what happened. Because of this, it reminds me of that, and therefore I freeze, or I'm paralyzed with fear. Because truth be told, fear is a lot of the reasons why we don't take action, we stay stuck in situations, we don't speak our truth, and we succumb to somebody else's needs and abort our own. That comes with food and sex on a daily basis. So to the degree that you're willing to actually say, it's tough for me to navigate through this subject, is the very degree that you have to look back at yourself and ask, am I a sexual companion for my partner? And I'm basically talking as you're preparing for marriage, because if I have my own reservations, I need to work on them before I'm willing to say, this is somebody that I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with.